So here's footage of it when it was coming down, so you can see what exactly happened.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, no, 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 no.
Absolutely nightmarish. But it didn't burst into a ball of flames instantly, so that's good. Nobody died, at least not last I heard. And then there's a lot of angles filmed inside, and there was like a long Snapchat story someone filmed while they were in it.
Everything, drop it.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh, there we go.
Come on. Don't take no video. Step on the right. On the right.
Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Oh my fucking god.
It is crazy how often this kind of shit is happening now.
Yo, I was just on this fucking plane. Oh my god.
I would not fly if I were these people. You see, I had the opposite take. If I was on this plane, I would be so much more comfortable flying. Because what is the statistical anomaly that would have to occur for me to be in 2 plane crashes? You know what I mean? Like, if I was on this, I'd come out and be like, oh my god. Like, I'm probably going to be good for flying for the rest of my life. People have been struck by lightning twice. Yeah, but even getting struck by lightning probably has a higher likelihood of happening instead of getting in a fucking plane crash twice. What happened to the people in the plane? Are they fine? What I saw was there was 8 injuries, but nothing life-threatening, and it seems like everyone's fine. Wasn't there a Titanic survivor that died in another ship sinking? Yeah, that's ships, but I'm talking planes. There's a great video by Captain Steve, who's an actual real commercial pilot that breaks down exactly what went wrong. That sounds interesting. Captain Steve? Oh, I've seen this channel before. I know this guy. I forgot his name was Captain Steve.
All right, it's been an incredible month in aviation. So many things have happened. I didn't even get time to change. I thought right here at the airport, I want to comment about what happened in Toronto. I've got some insight at what happened with the airplane. Let's start to take a look and dive into it right now.
Thanks, you Shabbat Ball.
Toronto Tower, Endeavour 4819, I'm Tower 23. Endeavour 4819, Toronto Tower.
I'm curious. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing. I'm gonna watch the rest on my own. But I do want to see like what his initial thoughts are, because my dad's friend is a commercial pilot for Delta. So when this happened, my dad was messaging him, and he said that what he thinks happened, and from what he can tell, the plane was going too slow and descending too fast. And when they touched down, that discrepancy, or the way he explained it, it's a little above my pay grade. But he said, like, that combination led to the plane flipping over and having that whole episode that we saw. He said the cause was too slow for a too rapid of a descent. And I'm curious if Captain Steve says the same.
Wind 27023, gust 33,
He's
total
membership tie.
923, you might get a slight bump in the glide path, there'll be an aircraft in front of it.
In Meat Canyon's video, they searched the yearly average for plane crashes. It's only 30, and there's been 16 already.
Okay, we've got Endeavour 4819 is a CRJ 900, a very common airplane. There's a lot of them out there in service. Very, very reliable.
I did not hear about that
airplane.
update,
76
Titus.
people on board, 4 crew members, 80 folks altogether. They've just been cleared for landing. They're lined up on runway 23 at Toronto Airport. The winds are gusty. They're kind of down the runway, but there's some right to left crosswind. That's going to be a factor here in a minute. Let's see what happens next.
That really is crazy footage.
Oh, fuck. Oh.
4543 ground runway 248, native Skyfall altimeter 2993.
Okay, let me pause it right there. So we have some incredible footage from another airplane that was filming just what they thought was going to be a routine landing. It ends up being a crash landing that incredibly all 80 people walk away from. That's the really good news about all of this. But what I observe initially is this. It's a gusty day. You can tell by the cloud formations. It's just one of those days where it's kind of, the winds are unpredictable. And I think the forecast was winds gusting up to 30 knots or more. This airplane comes in. It looks like it's on a normal glide slope as it comes in, but right at the very end, and we're going to reverse this in a minute, and we're going to play it back in slow motion. I'm going to analyze it for you. But right at the very end, the airplane dips to the right, the wing strikes the ground, and the wing departs the airplane, and the airplane rolls.
Sounds like he's going to get a
And you
different
see fire
conclusion
here at
than
this
my
point.
dad's
It's gonna get
pilot
put out
friend.
rather quickly between the snow and the crew, the fire crew getting out there in an incredibly quick time frame. But let me start it over here again, and let's go back over and let's take a look and follow this in slow motion, because I want to analyze specifically what I think caused this accident.
Yeah, I've been hearing more and more
Okay,
about
here
those
comes in
porn
slow
ads,
motion. The airplane is touching
or
down.
Akko.
We'll stop it right there. You see on the right side of the airplane, there's a plume of snow coming up. That's not smoke. That's snow coming up. So that's the moment where the wing tip most likely touched and struck the ground. Now, I think they're still on the runway here. They could be just slightly off. There may be a little bit of snow on the runway, and that explains how that snow flume comes up. Now, as that happens, here's what's going to happen with the end of the wing. The wing is designed to take incredible forces from the wind, but it's not really designed to twist in a twisting motion like an aluminum can would. If you took an empty aluminum can and twisted it, it would torque and fall apart rather quickly. Now, this wing is super strong, but it's not designed to do exactly what it does next. The wingtip now touches down the ground. Why did that happen? Well, there's a couple of reasons.
That's very interesting then. That's super different. So, again, my dad's friend, they grew up together. His name's Greg. He was a Delta pilot. He retired, I think, 10 years ago because he went to a bar at one of the stops, before a return flight. He went to the bar stool broke, and it snapped his back. He then was unable to fly commercial, so Delta paid him out a crazy sum, and he hasn't flown since. So he's a real pilot who got dealt a really bad hand with some bad luck on that bar stool. And when this happened, it's a Delta flight. My dad messaged him because my dad's glued to aviation shit. He said that he thinks it was just too slow for too fast of a descent, which led to this. It seems like Captain Steve is saying it's more like the weather conditions and the actual impact, or the snow and weather conditions and crosswind. They're obviously going to do a huge investigation, and I'm curious exactly everything that went wrong. Could this ruin the pilots' careers? Well, if this was their fault, yeah, absolutely. 100%. If this was a pilot error, which, it's kind of looking like it is, to a certain extent. Yeah, probably. All the YouTube pilots are agreeing on the wind. Okay, I'll have to check out the rest. Worth mentioning, it was yesterday when my dad was talking to Greg about it. So maybe there's more footage and more information to go on now. Probably manic. I work for Delta. We operate 1,000 flights daily out of Atlanta alone and 5,400 globally without incident. This is incredibly rare to happen. Well, aviation disasters in general were incredibly rare, but we're seeing some really big-ticket aviation disasters recently. We had our first major fatal American airline crash not long ago. Only about, not even a month. Probably Blazer, I imagine lawsuits, yeah. It's impressive everyone survived here. Commendable engineering. Indeed. That is very good. Plane crashes are going down every year. You keep saying that, and I'm sure statistically you're right, but I feel like there's gotta be something to be said that we're only 2 months in and we've already had so many major airline crashes in airlines that don't usually have crashes, let alone fatal ones. Thanks for membership, Krusty. You're just hearing about it more. But that's not true either. Like, usually that's the case when it comes to things like this, but in this case you're just wrong. Because we literally have not had a major aviation disaster with fatalities like we just saw with the collision with the helicopter. Like, it's not just we're hearing about it more. Like, yeah, we're getting more information on things, so you hear more about, like, some of the smaller crashes. But we're also getting much more devastating large ones, too. You think people in 1982 heard about all 3593 crashes? No, but you could easily find all 3593 crashes. They'd all be documented by the FAA. But, I mean, that's still not the point I was making. Like, I'm sure the amount of crashes is lower than in 1982. I absolutely believe that. But, again, fatal crashes on major airlines don't happen in America. At least they didn't. And now they do. We've had 3 in a month. Two of the last 3 crashes weren't fatal. No, but the one that was the first one in many, many moons. That was a catastrophe. I think so, wow. I've been afraid of flying before it was cool. The media wasn't as strong in the 80s, so we didn't get that information immediately. Now we hear about every single crash, so it seems like more. I don't know about that, man. I feel like in the 80s, you would hear about plane crashes. Like, I really think you did hear about them. Those are well reported. But again, the fatal crash with the helicopter is the first one in long, long time. It's not just, like, hearing it more. Like, that is actually the first time that's happened in a long time. There you go, it took a really long time for a crash like that to happen, very rare. I know it's very rare, I'm not saying it's not very rare. I'm saying we are getting much more high-profile aviation disasters when we usually don't. Again, there have been 3 big ones in just a month. One of them being the first with fatalities in a long time. It's concerning. Thanks for 5 gift subs, Kai. Appreciate that. I'm not sure, Manic. I don't know what the training's looking like, so I couldn't tell you. I'm a flight attendant. This many commercial accidents is not normal. Well, it's definitely not normal, that's for sure. Again, even the fatalities were higher in the 80s. Well, I don't know why we're so hung up on the 80s. I'm not directly comparing it to the 80s. I'm just saying how concerning it is, because throughout my life, since 1994, I have not seen this many plane crashes so close together. Like, up until then, I could pretty much remember all of the big plane crashes, like Sullivan, where he was a hero, that kind of thing. Now, there's so many, they're starting to blur together, and I'm forgetting some.